yet another film now facing a precarious circumstance of whether or not it can be released. The release of filmmaker Prakash Jha's upcoming production there, which is called Lipstick Under My Burkha. It stars Konkona Sharma and Ratna Pathak Shah. It has hit a roadblock here after the Censor Board refused to certify the film, giving out an inconclusive status. Now, listing the reasons here for the denial of certificate, Central Board of Film Certification there in a letter has written, I'm going to read out those lines from that letter, saying that the story is lady-oriented, their fantasy above life, there are sexual scenes, abusive words, audio pornography and a bit sensitive touch about one particular section of society. Hence, the film has been refused certification under these guidelines. It does sound bizarre, but that is the justification that's come out by the Censor Board. The film's director here, Alankrita Shrivastava, has criticized the CBFC's decision, saying that it is an assault on women's rights and that she will fight till the end to get a film released in India. The film, remember, has already been screened across the world in various film festivals. It has won the Oxfam award for the best film on gender equality at the Mumbai Film Festival and the Spirit of Asia prize at the Tokyo International Film Festival as well. And this is not the first time that Jha has faced problems with the Censor Board. The director was asked to make several cuts in the film, was also given an A certificate. Jha later approached the Film Certification Appellate Tribunal and got a clean chit there for the Priyanka Chopra starrer Jai Gangajal. And Alankrita Shrivastava, the director of the film, speaking to NewsX from Glasgow, here's what she stated.
Of course, I'm very surprised because this is a film that is being appreciated and getting a lot of respect in film festivals across the world. And in fact, even in India at the Mumbai Film Festival, the film won the Oxfam award for the best film on gender equality. And in Tokyo, it won the Spirit of Asia prize. And right now I'm in Glasgow for the Glasgow Film Festival, where the film is one of the only 10 films in competition. So of course, I mean, one does want the Indian audience also to be able to, watch the film, because the film is an Indian story. It's about Indian women. So I really do want Indian audiences to be able to watch the film. As far as my reaction goes, I truly was not expecting the Censor Board to react like this to the film, because going by films like Parched and Margarita with a Straw and Pink, so I really thought that, I really wasn't expecting the Censor Board to deal with the film in this sort of manner. So we had the first screening for the Censor Board at the end of January. And a few days later, and at the end of the screening, they told me they can't decide anything and they're going to discuss, etc., and then send me their decision in writing, which is what they did. And after that, that's the letter that we got. And after that, I applied to the revising committee, and then the revising committee screening happened last Monday. And at the end of that screening, I met Mr. Neelani, because he was watching the film along with the other members. And that's when he told me that they have taken a unanimous decision and they will not be certifying the film. And post that, of course, and once we get that same decision in writing, we'll be applying to the tribunal in Delhi.
Let's get in further details. We have with us our correspondent for entertainment, Uday Pratap Singh, with further inputs here. Uday, help us understand what's the next step here by the filmmaker. The case in point, of course, the recent most being Urta, Punjab, where the filmmakers had decided to go to the court. The film certificate also, interestingly, had stated that this film has been given the go-ahead by a set of judges, by a bench of judges. It did not have the CBFC stamp there. What are Alankrita's options here?
Well, yes, Seher, the filmmakers are absolutely outraged with the bizarre logic that has been given by the Censor Board in refusing certificate to Lipstick Under My Burkha, and they have decided not to take this decision lying down. Prakash Jha and the producer of the film and Alankrita Shrivastava, the director of the film, have said that they will now be appealing this decision in the FCAT, that is the Film Certification Appellate Tribunal. They will take their battle there and they will hope for a favorable verdict. And remember, if they are not happy with the FCAT, then of course they can decide to approach court. Now, the court route, of course, was taken by Urta Punjab makers because the time span for the release was very limited. Here, the film's producers and the film's team do not have any immediate plans to release the film. They want the certificate and then they will decide the release date for the film. So they are likely to approach the FCAT. But yes, what they're most outraged, of course, about is the reasons which are given in rejection of the film, i.e. the film is lady-oriented and it talks about their fantasies. In fact, Alankrita is saying that this is just symbolic of how patriarchal our society has become, where if you have a differing perspective, if you have a female perspective, then you want that view or that perspective clamped down upon. Now, we've been speaking with the film's team as well since the morning, and they are also extremely upset. Sudhir Mishra, who has watched the film, also says it's a very remarkable film. It has, at the end of the day, won awards at global film festivals. And, it's regressive if our own country's censor board will not allow it to release on domestic soil.
Uday, is this being seen as a huge Herculean task now for filmmakers to just get that certificate despite having categories such as U/A, adult certificate, despite having those categories, not being able to release a film legally through the board, and you get these bizarre reasons being listed out on record, on paper, on the official letter?
Well, yes, in fact, Sudhir Mishra, eminent filmmaker, while talking to me this morning, did say he's bored with this debate now, because the fact is, again and again, you have this problem cropping up. It's happened with Urta Punjab, it's happened with Haramkhor, it happened with, Bar Bar Dekho, where that bra scene was chopped off. It has happened now again with Lipstick Under My Burkha. So they are asking, where will the buck stop? Where will this problem end? It keeps on cropping up once again. Why are filmmakers being targeted? Why are these discretionary, censor board diktats coming out? Because the fact is, the Shah committee, which was tasked with reviewing the whole procedure in which the censor board functions, has submitted its recommendations in a two-part report. They have submitted their recommendations to the Ministry of INB, but the recommendations have simply not been implemented. In fact, Shah also was speaking with NewsX this morning, said when he stated that the time is ripe and he hopes that it will be done as soon as possible, because he's actually given guidelines for how to certify and not censor. But here, as one of the actors of the film I was speaking to earlier, Vikrant Massey, was saying, it's a complete block of the film. They're not asking them to impose 72 or 75 cuts, which was the outrageous amount which Urta Punjab had. They're not asking them to put beeps and, mutations, etc. They are, muting, etc.
Yes.
They're saying simply the film cannot release because of so-and-so reasons.
Okay. Also going to be discussing with you there on how have they possibly justified the film along any lines really violating the existing guidelines. Hold that thought there, playing out more reactions that have come in from the film industry on this.
You cannot reject the film. This is what the country, the government also has been telling. When Arun Jaitley Sahab was the INB minister, he has been saying this. Rajavardhan Rathod has been saying that you have no right to refuse the film. You put the film into a particular category. You are breaking the confidence of a writer, of a creator, a person who writes, a person who makes, that the films has to be made as per the choice of Mr. Pathak. I think this is most shameful, this is more tragic, and this is not the right way of handling things.
This person's continuation in the censor board is a recipe for disaster for creativity. I think that the more he continues, the more you would see these kind of images. I mean, he went to the extent of saying that he's a lady-oriented. What's your problem, dear? What are you up to? Are you basically wanting to kill all creative forms or artistic expressions? Let the people judge. I mean, you don't become the my bap or the authoritarian figure for art or creativity.
The Censor Board is an independent body that works on certification based on the criteria. I don't think it's for the government to comment on this issue. Let the Censor Board give its opinion. If the filmmaker thinks he's being wronged, he can always go to the appellate.
To a prominent filmmaker, Sham Benegal, Mukesh Bhatt on this very issue. Here's what they've stated, including Sudhir Mishra there as well. Take a listen in.
Well, I really don't know anything about the film, so I cannot comment on the film and the way it has been treated by the CBFC. All I can say is that I was part of a committee that wrote a report to change the whole basis of how CBFC looks at films. Now, that particular report is with the government. We gave it in two parts in April and October last year. I haven't heard anything about it. Now, if I were to simply say it in one sentence, it's very simple. We are against censorship. We are for classification, greater classification of films in terms of, classifying films according to age and maturity of the viewer. So certain films may be classified for one particular age and maturity in a particular way. Now, that sort of thing, but not of censorship, not of stopping films from being shown, or anybody using scissors on a film.
Bored. I'm really bored of indignation because you've been talking about this. Is certification, not censorship. The name of the organization, Central Board of Certification, is not the Censor Board. I'm bored, but here goes. What right does anybody have to stop a imaginative, young, brilliant filmmaker like Alankrita from exhibiting her film? The point is whether I like it or not is not the point. Is that this is her work of imagination, of love, of women and life. And, this is, the youth have a right to express themselves. They, no foggy old whatever has a right to them.
See, what I gather, first of all, I've not seen the film. So for me to pass a statement about a film which I have not seen becomes quite illogical on my part and unethical on my part. Nevertheless, what I want to say is that, it's very easy to target the CBFC and very easy to target the people. You see, in the garb of freedom of expression, the presentation of the filmmaker and the intent of the filmmaker is of very prime importance. If the CBFC members feel that the presentation has been not decorous enough, or it's shown some kind of perversion or something, and that's why they are doing what they are doing, then that's a prerogative for a person who has watched the film to take. For me to pass a statement about a film which I have not seen, I feel is very unethical.
This is the saddest part, because these are the people who should not be on such boards. And this film, I'm glad, is receiving a lot of international acclaim, and I'm sure it will be available for others to watch it over here. But it is also sad that everybody cannot watch it, and film certification, censor boards need to be educated, sensitized, and reoriented on what freedom is all about, especially sexual freedom.
She can say that. She has a right to say that. She has a right to lodge a protest. But because we have not seen the film, it's between the censors and the producer. So because we have not seen the film, it's very difficult to pass a judgment. I think that would be passing a judgment without watching the film. So that is a bit difficult for us to say anything about the film.
वो ये भी देखते हैं कि फिल्म के लिए फिल्म न हो, उसकी समाज में अगर प्रतिक्रिया गलत हो और उससे कुछ मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग पैदा हो महिलाओं के बारे में, टू मच वीमेन सेंट्रिक हो, और पोर्नोग्राफी और एब्यूजिव लैंग्वेज एंड एब्यूजिव, इफ इट इज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ द फिल्म, जरूरी नहीं, लेकिन पब्लिक को अट्रैक्ट करने के लिए, सेल करने के लिए, उसका कमर्शियल अगर उन्होंने मिसयूज किया है इन द नेम ऑफ एब्यूजिंग ऑल दैट, तो उसको जरा बारीकी से देखना चाहिए, और क्या इंटेंशन है फिल्म मेकर का सही में वो देखना चाहिए.
You are saying that you are trying to come at par, or rather you are at par as far as international standards are concerned, and then suddenly you see that a film which has been applauded by international fraternity, which has earned so many awards, is being given a khab diktat in the name of, I mean, what? You are not ready for women equality in the society? Are you trying to say that? Absolutely nonsense.
बहुत सारे ऐसे सेक्शंस हैं जिसमें ये पिक्चर पास नहीं होती है. सेक्शन ए है, सेक्शन 2A है, सेक्शन 2B है, 2C है. बहुत सारे ऐसे सेक्शंस हैं जिनके अंडर इसको डिनाई किया गया है सर्टिफिकेशन, क्योंकि ये किस तबके को लेकर के बनाई गई है यही क्लियर नहीं है. इसमें कहीं पर भी ये नहीं बोला है CBFC ने कि महिलाओं की जो अधिकार है उनको हम नहीं देना चाहते या उनकी डिनायल के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. पिक्चर का जो सब्जेक्ट है, जो कंटेंट है, वो कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट है, जो लोगों को समझना पड़ेगा. और CBFC को बार बार बैशिंग करना और ये बोलना कि CBFC सर्टिफिकेट.
Okay, let's get another important voice from the film industry on this. Sushant Singh, well-known actor, with us on the phone line. Thanks for being with us, Sushant. In your view, what would your first reaction be to this? It's not the first time you have a film facing the same problem.
I'm sad, anguished, of course, because it's a beautiful film, made by women mostly, from dialogue writer to the director. They're all women, and they're talking about a theme which is very, very relevant, that how women are treated in our society,
right.
How small dreams are repressed, and sexuality is one part of it. Film is not just about sex. First of all, I would like to say that. Women exploring their sexuality is one part of it. Now, my question at large to the whole society and the Censor Board is that when women are portrayed as sex objects, men leering at their cleavages, when they're presented objects for the pleasure of men, men exploring their sexuality in a vulgar way, that is very fine. UA and A certificate is given. But when a movie talks about women wanting or exploring sexual freedom, why is that such a taboo?
Okay.
We shouldn't even see the movie. And I think that's also a compliment to the movie's theme, that a movie which says that women are repressed in our society, that movie is also repressed.
Right, Sushant, you of course are starring in this film here as well. Are you saying that you're outraged by this decision, and more importantly, the official word that's been out in letter on paper saying that the story is lady-oriented, their fantasy above life, that comes across as a bizarre reason?
That's such patriarchal language. That's such, I mean, it's patronizing that a lady-oriented and fantasy above life. What do they even mean by that? It boggles my mind. A movie which is being appreciated internationally and which is an important movie for this generation. All women and men should watch this movie. And I think maybe they are afraid of, women getting liberated. That's why such movies they're trying to repress.
Okay, so that being the apparent sense which you feel on why this unnecessary diktat for this movie, what do you think is the next step here? Are we going to look at lipstick under my burqa being taken the Urta Punjab route, left with no choice but to really knock on the doors of the court now?
I'm sure that would be the logical step. And after that, I think let's hope that courts make the Censor Board see this some sense and they issue a certificate and the movie is released with all dignity. If not, then I think in the age of internet, releasing a movie digitally without a certificate or not, I don't think there's any problem in that.
Right. Sushant, why do you feel we're looking at filmmakers facing the nature of this issue time and again? It's reached to the point where you have a certain section of people attacking a film set as well. As far as Sanjay Leela Bansali's case was concerned, you had spoken out very prominently back then as well. Despite existing guidelines, despite provisions of giving out a U certificate or an A certificate for a movie, one still faces this issue.
I think people have become oversensitive. भावनाएं बहुत जल्दी आहत हो जाती हैं. Everybody is, at the drop of a hat, their emotions and sentiments are hurt. So, filmmakers, we are the softest target. A political party or a political leader saying something against anyone else, there's no violence against that person because you know that he's backed by thousands and lakhs of people. But a filmmaker, even picking up a subject, is a taboo. We can't speak about political leaders. We can't speak about mythological figures. Now we can't speak about women's sexuality. So I think there should be a body which should be formed, which should issue diktats, and I think which should start scrutinizing scripts even before we start shooting, and tell us that, okay, this is a decent, nice subject which will not hurt anyone. Go ahead, make it. I think we've reached that age.
Understandably, that of course being the extreme sarcasm here that one gets to hear. So Shan Singh, appreciate you speaking to us. Of course, the actor who stars in the film as well, saying that he's outraged by this nature of decision and the wordings on the official note on why the film cannot be released. In all likelihood, the filmmakers there would be going to court. Thanks for being with us.